All right, let's talk about what just happened in the US stock market September 15th through the 19th, 2025. If you missed it, this was a record-breaking week, literally. The S&P 500 closed at an all-time high. The Nasdaq closed at an all-time high. The Dow Jones closed at an all-time high. So, what's driving this rally? Let's break it down. First off, the Federal Reserve was front and center. Midweek, they cut interest rates by 25 basis points, the first cut of the year. That's a big deal. Investors have been waiting for this signal that the Fed is ready to start easing policy. Everyone was glued to Jerome Powell's comments, trying to figure out if more cuts are on the way. Now, inflation data was a bit of a mixed bag. Wholesale prices, or PPI, actually slipped, which is good for the market. Some consumer inflation numbers came in hotter than expected. Still, job growth got revised down a bit, cooling fears of overheating. Tech was the real star of the week. Again, the big names, especially the Magnificent Seven, led the charge. AI plays were hot, data center plays were hot, with Oracle posting strong earnings and guidance. Intel surged almost 23%. Nvidia announced a massive $5 billion investment related to Intel. It wasn't just tech, though. Utilities had a good week as lower bond yields made dividends more attractive. The 10-year Treasury yield dropped a bit, which helped support stocks across the board. On the global front, there was progress on US-China trade, especially a new framework around TikTok. That eased some geopolitical tension. Asian and emerging markets saw money flowing in on optimism about growth overseas. But there are risks to keep an eye on. Most gains were concentrated in big tech. Smaller companies and other sectors didn't really participate, making the rally narrower. Inflation is still a wild card. If inflation stays hot, the Fed might not cut as much as hoped. If yields start climbing again, that could put pressure on rate-sensitive stocks. There's also the classic sell the news risk. With expectations sky high, any disappointment could spark a reversal. So to sum it up, record highs, a Fed rate cut, tech leading the way, big moves in AI, but don't lose sight of the risks, especially if the rally stays narrow. That's your quick recap for the week. If you want more, hit that subscribe and I'll keep you in the loop. See you next time.